supposed to. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a whole bunch of these ready, and then I'll come back and show you guys what we're actually talking about, just in case there's some confusion. And there should be. I mean, if you've never seen this before, it's probably going to be hard to completely picture what I'm talking about unless you've seen it. And again, you know, nobody should be ashamed and feel like, oh man, you know, I should know this and everybody's gonna, you know, make fun of me or whatever. But so like I said, I'll get this, you know, 90% of the way there. We'll come back and just kind of, you know, help you guys work out the bugs. Okay guys, so I kind of lied. I'm just gonna jump right in here on the first string. We're gonna start with the high E. Okay, and basically, until you're actually ready to start your string change, you want to leave these locked in. And the reason for that is, I don't know if you can see this in the camera at all, and if not, you know, you're gonna have to look at your own guitar for reference. But there's a little square here of metal that is pushed in by this screw against the base of the saddle here, and that's what actually pinches the string into place itself. We're gonna cut these balls off the end of the string here in just a second with a wire cutter. So with a Floyd Rose style guitar, you have no balls, okay? And so the first thing you're gonna have to do is open up this space for the string, and you do that simply by taking the appropriate Floyd Rose included with your guitar. And if it wasn't, I don't know the metric size off the top of my head. I'll try to post it in the video by the time I put this up, but basically just mess around until you figure out which one fits. And again, it'll fit pretty much everything. It'll fit your locking nut, it'll fit this. I think there's something else important it fits too, but we'll get there when we get there. So first thing is, we're just opening this up. Oh, and the whole reason I wanted to tell you that is, if you left all these open, and then you turn your guitar over to adjust your springs or whatever, these all fall out. And I did that a couple of years ago, and I mean, it's, you know, if you smoke pot or whatever, you're probably gonna do it a couple times. But basically, we're gonna start here with our 10 gauge that we're using as our high E. We're gonna cut this ball off here, and again, you got plenty of string length to play with, especially if you have a reverse headstock like this. This is gonna go in front of that square. I don't know if you can see that, the trem arm in the way or whatever, but this just slides right in front of that square behind the saddle, and we're just gonna go ahead and clamp that down. It doesn't look like it should actually be able to lock, but it does, I promise. And this is just being finicky because this whole guitar process has been finicky. Okay, so that's, you can see it in here, it's definitely in. Okay, and we're gonna run this underneath the locking nut, and I just put these down really tight when I'm you know, gonna be doing adjustments and stuff like that. I don't actually bother to bolt them down. So this is gonna go underneath, and it might take you a little encouragement to get it through. Okay, so now we're pulling it through. Just barely taut at all. And what I was talking about with that 2 post reference point was, here we got 1, 2 posts beyond the desired string length. And I'm gonna go ahead with my wire cutter and just snip it right there where that G post is, or whatever you tune to, you know. So we're gonna go ahead, discard, and basically we're gonna string this through the hole in the center of the post, like the eye hole. And you just want to put it through maybe a 1/4 inch, whatever that is, not even a 1/2 inch. And with these style guitars, I prefer to tune towards myself. If this was a 6 on a side or 3 on a side 6 string, like a Les Paul style, so you have 3 on each side of the tuning or the headstock, traditionally people will like to tune the treble side towards themselves, and then the bass strings go away. That's just kind of policy. And then on a Fender style guitar, where you have the post going the opposite way, you tune away from yourself. Typically, if you're putting your hand underneath, you're going to be tuning towards yourself. That's just, you know, kind of like etiquette, I guess. So I'll come around this side, and I got this pink winder because they were on sale for $1 because nobody wanted pink. Go figure. Fuck BAM, you wrecked the world. So we're gonna tune away from ourselves, and you're just gonna kind of bend this. It is a piece of metal, so I mean it is malleable. Kind of push down, fuck me. Of course I'm doing this for the video now. Okay, hang on folks. This is real life talking to you. All right. And I suppose if you really wanted to, you could have locked this before you started winding, but whatevs. And the way these Floyds go, man, I'm telling you, it takes all night no matter how you end up doing it. Just one thing after another usually. So, and yeah, I pushed it through a little farther than I recommended, which is the way you should be doing it, but I also wouldn't be standing over myself like a jackass like this either. I'd be sitting down. And again, when you have a string winder like this, you get these nice, clean, tight winds. I hate it when I go to somebody's like band practice space and there's always that one asshole in the corner who's got the, like 4 feet of string off his headstock. I don't know why that look just bothers me. It just looks like you're gonna put your eye out or something. I'm a little too much of a control freak for that. Okay, so we just about got this taut. Now, one more thing I want to show you before I go on and do all the rest of these, because it's going to be the same exact procedure. At the end of this, I'm going to cut this off. I usually wouldn't leave this much on there, it'd be shorter than that anyway, but here's the deal. My dad got me doing this when I was a kid, and I don't see many people doing this. All the time, you go to gigs or you go to a band practice space and somebody says to you, don't worry about my guitar, I just put new strings on it, it's going out of tune. Okay, well like I said, this is a piece of metal, all right? It's gonna stretch out. And here's the deal. You can basically take a string and pull it like this, back and forth, and just kind of wring it out. So every time I'm restringing my guitars, I'll do this several times, and it basically just gets that string to where it's gonna be. Now, instead of, especially with a Floyd Rose equipped guitar like this, see what I'm saying is like this whole thing is going to want to keep moving on you. It's going to want to keep going up and down and back and forth and all that shit. And if you got your strings actually lengthening, you're never going to get this thing in tune and get the Floyd to actually be set where you want it to be. So spend a little time, shake out your strings, and like I said, we're just going to go through, just get each one taut like this. I don't give a shit what pitch this is. We're going to go ahead, finish on the rest of these, then once they're all wrung out and all that stuff, I'll tune them up to pitch. We'll pull the block out and see how out of whack we are, and I'll show you how to adjust after that. Okay, so we got all the strings on, and it is routine, man. I mean, like, you will get some of them locked in and pull on them and they feel great, and then you go to tune them up and one pops out. I had 2 pop out and just about lost it for a minute, but it's part of the game. That's what happens, especially when you got these really heavy gauge strings on, and you can only get so many winds with these too, and depending on how heavy a gauge you're going to, a lot of these guitars, even though they're made for this stuff, don't accommodate that heavy of a string. I've seen friends of mine have to actually gouge out their saddles and also the nut slot to get their stuff, and also the hole in the peg head is only so big too. So we're at a point now where we got all the strings on. Looks good at strings on again. We're going to go ahead and tune this thing up to pitch, and again, I'm just going to be tuning this in, and I decided to screw the half step thing. I'm just going to tune, this is a regular guitar EAD GBE down, and then we're going to tune this to B, and then I drop it down to A. Now, as far as these wheels on the end go, you know, and don't lose yourself on it, but you know, you kind of want them to be flat across. And the idea with that is, once you lock this nut, these tuners are done. So I mean, the only adjustments you can make are these fine adjusters that are pushing down on the tension on the saddles, and especially with your low B, keep that in mind, because most of us are going to be going back and forth between standard tuning and a drop tuning. If there's anything else that you'd like to, of course, keep that in mind before you get everything locked into place. So kind of like level out your wheels on here, so there's a much better name for the fine tuners. Tune with these, then lock your nut, And then once everything's in pitch and sounds good and all that, go ahead